welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Money with Friends. Oh boy, every Wednesday we get to come to you to share some really pertinent information about money, life, and I always say everything else because the time to share this information is now. And we had a great show planned, and we were gonna have a guest speaker from Bitcoin. Actually, it's a cryptocurrency company called PHILCOIN, and we've been talking for a while, and she was excited. She was gonna be here, and I was excited that she was gonna be part of this show as well. But unfortunately, because of schedule issues, she was not able to attend today. And I'm hoping that it's gonna be rescheduled soon. But with that being said, I said to myself, and that just came about a couple hours ago, and I said to myself, what do we do? It's so important to have a plan A, and that was her coming on. But of course, it's so important to have a plan B. What do you do when life throws you a curveball and you have to reinvent yourself? You have to do something different, and you have to be flexible. Because I think being flexible is such an important skill to have, because in life you will be thrown unexpected curveballs. But it is up to you how you handle it and how you move forward. So without further ado, I would like to welcome you again to Let's Talk Money with Friends. We appreciate it when you like, share, make a comment, and let your friends know that we are here every Wednesday and that we are here for you and for them. So I will introduce my friends who are so flexible, because it was last minute. Less than an hour ago, I called them and I said, listen, I need your help tonight, emergency, because we have a cancellation. So, and they were more than willing to come and support me. So I would like to welcome Fabi, and we have as well as Lisa on with us. So why don't you go first, Lisa? Introduce yourself, let them know a little bit about you, because we're going to be talking about Plan B. How do you, as business owners or even career professionals, handle cancellation, unexpected turns in life? So yes, how you ladies doing tonight? Lisa, go ahead.
We are doing well. Hi, I'm Lisa Worthy. I am in the e-commerce marketing space. And I also help small businesses be able to extend their platform and their reach online through social media. You have to always be ready with the changes. Change will happen. That's inevitable, and be willing to pivot and think quickly on your feet.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much, Lisa. And why don't we have Fabi, why don't you introduce yourself again? You haven't been here in a long time. Oh, so thank you so much for being here again tonight.
Oh no, you're welcome. You're welcome. So that's the important part too, right? Having a strong enough circle that when things happen, you can reach to your circle and they can be there. But anyways, my name is Fabiola. I am the broker owner of Fab Living Realty. And I help people find houses, sell houses, prepare to buy houses, or just get into real estate as a career.
Yes, definitely. Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, today, I just want to let it do what it do. And that's my favorite. I let it do what it do, because to tell the truth, when Linda Linda said to me that unfortunately, I'm not able to make it. That's the executive director of operation from PHILCOIN. And I said to her, I'm gonna let it do what it do. And she was gonna try to get somebody to substitute for her, but unfortunately, they have a major meeting in Florida, and they're in Miami right now. So yeah, it happens. Life happens. And so you know what? I jotted some questions because I wanted to again have a guided conversation. And I love the fact that you said, Fabiola, it's so important to have backups and people that you can count on, that you can tap into, call and say, listen, I have an emergency. Could you help me? Now, remember, on this show, we've talked about the power of your no, the importance to say no. So we expect folks to say no at times. But when you have an emergency like that, is it very important to have friends that you can count on? And if you don't have that team of resources that you can tap into when you have emergency, should you cultivate that? Is it important to have that backup plan? Fabiola.
Oh yeah. I think it's important. Like you have to guard your circle.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you have to start a new circle when you realize that circle is not there for you. And even now, one of the biggest advice I think my mom has given me is when people show you who they are, you accept it and
Correct.
you address them accordingly.
Correct.
And that's part of building your circle,
Yes.
and when you start to build your circle, there's going to be, in its life, things happen, things come up. You have to keep note of who you can call on and who you keep close and who you keep at an arm distance and who you keep across the street. So to say, then you don't get mad at people. You don't feel, you don't build up any type of bad energy. You just treat them in accordance to how they show you that they are.
Yeah, definitely. You don't need to get mad because I do believe things will happen the way they're supposed to happen. And that if you are a person, especially of faith or someone who's very confident in who you are and what you're all about, when things like this, you just like, roll with the punches and just like let it do what it do. You talked about like people will show you who they are and you gotta believe them. I think it was Maya Angelou who said that believe them the first time. When they tell you who they are, believe them. So in terms of like, life throwing you lemons and you have to make lemonade, in terms of relationship, right? How do we, as women especially, or even people altogether, sometimes we'll see the lemon being thrown at us and we're still trying to hold on to the lemon and not try to make lemonade, meaning like we invent ourselves in doing something different so that we don't keep doing the same thing like an insane person. Lisa.
Yes, I would say, once you have that lemon, you can either go back or stay stagnant holding the lemon, or you can see what can I do with these pieces to actually grow something from them. An example is we're going to go through life challenges. That's inevitable. Are you going to let it hold you back, make you down, or are you going to pull any lesson or anything from it where you can use it? So a lot of people go through challenges, and that same challenge helps them become fruitful with the same challenge.
Yeah.
It could be something as small as a setback financially. You'll start to educate yourself. Hey, what can I do to get myself back on track? Or you're going to say, you know what? I'm already here. I'm never going to go up or change jobs or go after what it is that you truly want.
Yeah, definitely. And I think in terms of like personal, interpersonal relationship, you have a guy who you've been around with him and a girl, and then, you guys it's a tug of war. I was talking to a friend of mine and she said, you know what? I was in this, dead-end relationship for 7 years. And here I am. That was my plan A. I really believed that this person was going to be the plan A. And that's the only plan that I had at the time. But it wasn't until 7 years later, I realized that, you know what? I need to come up with a plan B because this person is not leading me or not taking me where I want to go. And if anything, they're holding me back. And she did. By leaving, she was able to find the plan B that really wanted to do something and made it happen quickly. Within 2 weeks, married, and now been married for 7 years. Because when you know what you want, it's very easy to get what you want. But if you don't know what you want, it's very easy to keep doing the same thing and expecting different result. And be upset with people when they have a plan A that's not working, and you're upset with them when the reality is you should be upset with yourself. So I know you do closing, Fabiola. I know in our careers, right? You are looking for a promotion, you think you qualify for the promotion, somebody else gets it. So that door closes. So I know for you at closings, it's like, yeah, this deal is gonna happen. The lawyer already called and said, you know what? The closing is on Thursday. And then Thursday at 10 o'clock. The closing is supposed to be at 12, Thursday at 10 o'clock, you get a call saying like, it's not gonna happen. How do you deal in terms of your work with unexpected turns like that? And what should you learn from that?
My philosophy is there's things that is within your control, and there's things that is not within your control. And I so happen to be in real estate, and sometimes a real estate transaction could literally be a roller coaster. And like there's actually a meme going on, like goes around as like real estate agent age faster, or like they drink a lot. But for me, in everything I do in life, if it's not within my control, what's the point of stressing about it? It's like, like stressing about it doesn't resolve it. It actually make it worse. So, and it's easier said than done, but at the end of it, like staring at reality, why stress over something that's not within your control? Like it doesn't solve the problem. So if closing is about to happen and it doesn't happen, yes, I'm upset, but I'm not gonna stress myself to the point where I'm thinking about it for 2 days, lose sleep over it, because at the end of the day, it's not worth it. Because if I did everything that's within my control, the rest is not, there's nothing else that can be done. And I think us as human beings seems to sometimes think we have control of all these things, when like the most important things in life we don't have control over. So I say to like, and I'm always smiling, so sometimes people assume like everything is good, but it just means that I've learned to let go of things that are not within my control.
Yeah. And I think it's important to stay positive and actually develop that skill where you learn to let go. But I was thinking about in terms of real estate or any sales job where you are already counting on that money. Some of that money has already been spent, that commission, right? Whether it's for your mortgage or for your kids' tuition, or to pay for a wedding, to pay for a large purchase, because it's already been counted on and many times spent. Sometimes that's the reason why, when, like say, for example, I have a show coming up and I feel excited about it. I know it's going to make a difference, and it doesn't happen. Of course, you're like, oh my gosh, I've been dreaming about the outcome, and now I'm not going to experience that outcome. What do I do? So I like the fact that you said, it's outside of your control. You have to let it do what it do. Have you ever experienced that, Lisa, where perhaps you were going for a job and you thought this was going to be the job, and then it didn't work through, but it didn't work out for you, but something else came up, and that other opportunity is so much better than what you had been praying and fussing about? Yeah.
Yeah, I can even share that experience. During COVID, the company that I was working for, they purchased goods overseas and everything was held up. So with that, in terms of production and manufacturing, of course, no funds are coming in, so you can't keep up with overhead. So I was laid off for the first time ever in life. Now I could have made that like, oh man, this is my first time. Yes, is it like, oh man, yes, it does. At the same time, what was I able to do? Go through a process, learn how to source materials to do a whole entire home remodel. I know materials now. If I wanted to remodel my home now, I would know where to buy certain things. So I kind of picked up a different skill, so, and then not only that, I thought about, okay, what can I do next? What is it that I want to do in this chapter that's going to take me to where I want to be? And go through that. Was money tight? I think I created other provisions for myself so that if in the event that something like this would happen, I would be able to stay afloat. Is it not constant, not have a job, or have a career doing something, and also exploring entrepreneurship and starting to plant those seeds and growing that. So it allowed me that opportunity to do it. So COVID wasn't such a great thing for anybody, but at the same time, it did create new opportunities. People started to demand more from their employers. Work from home is now possible that they never thought they could be able to do for working mothers, working parents. Let me put working parents, because both men and women work in the home. And so, yeah, that's how you kind of have to look at it. Now there's a new culture that you're able to thrive in.
Yeah, new opportunity. Go ahead.
And to add to that too, like, so we're talking about plan B. Your plan B could be getting up from whatever didn't come through, instead of just staying in that moment.
Correct.
And it's like, and even now, sometimes like, and back to like the whole circle thing, if some, like, you're my friend, you come to me with a problem, I said, oh, that sucks. But my next conversation is, okay, what are we gonna do to get out of it?
Yeah.
Like, don't stay in that, like, your plan B can be not to stay in that moment, because that moment is just gonna drag your morale down, your motivation, your health. I think they say like stress is like a silent killer. You're stressing yourself. Like, no, your plan B could be, don't stay, like Lisa did, don't stay in that moment. Start to think, okay, this didn't go through. What to do next, not keep complaining about, oh, that job sucked, or they're doing it's wrong. Yeah, but you're keeping yourself in that moment, which is keeping you from getting back up.
Correct. Well, it's so funny. My next question was, is it okay to be in a little funk for a minute? Because I think even if it's a bad relationship that you ended, whether it's a job that you lost, or a business deal that didn't go through, is it okay? I mean, like, is it normal? Is it part of the human experience to experience sadness? And like, as you said, it's not okay to stay in it, but is it okay? And what do you do when you find yourself there? What are some of the steps? Now, you said don't stay there. What are some of the steps that you can take after you've mourned a little bit to move forward to the next level?
I think taking time to evaluate the situation.
Correct.
And just, okay, could I have done something differently? Is the decision really even my decision to make? And then once you like take the time, I don't know, go for a walk, whatever, relax, like do something that relaxes you if you can after the moment happened. But you have to make sure you get back up, because life keeps going, time keeps passing by. Take the moment for you and then move on.
Yeah. What do you say, Lisa?
I would say the same. I would write. I usually write out what my emotions are, whatever they are at the moment. I feel, even with relationships or situations, I feel things a lot more deeply than others. I guess I'd be considered to be an empath in a way. So like, you have to be able to channel that energy into the right direction for you. Otherwise it can keep you down. So yeah, it's a human emotion. You'll feel down if someone disappoints you, friendships disappoint you, those types of things. But it's really the evaluating, like you were talking about, what went well, what didn't go well. Am I in the same place as I was before? What opportunities do I have? What can I learn from this? A great thing to do is go to I like the beach. I like the beach, or near a body of water of some kind. And just kind of think, let it out, or even do like painting, explore a new relaxing thing that you've never tried before. That kind of helps you to kind of think positively as well.
So you're saying do something active, do something thoughtful, as well as connect with friends who are able to help you think through. There's almost like a think tank team that you can have to help you say, because it's so funny. I know your aunt, she's a friend of mine, Lisa, and I was someone called and offered me an opportunity, and I was like, oh, so excited. I was like, this is it, right? And then so I was like, okay, what do I do next? So I was waiting for the next step, right? And then while I was waiting for the next step, I heard something came out of that person's mouth, and I was like, it doesn't look like it's gonna be a good situation for me because of what the person said. And so I was thinking about it, meditating on it. And then, of course, I called your auntie, and she was like, doesn't sound good. And I did the same thing with my sister. And she's like, no, it doesn't sound good, because if the person is saying stuff like this before you even get going, how is it going to be like when you are in the environment and having to deal with that person on a day-to-day basis? And then, and I was, meditating and praying on it. And as I was deciding to make that decision, of course, something better came along. So that's the idea of like, not putting all your eggs in one basket and not being so distraught when things don't, because I'm telling you, I was excited. because it looked lucrative and it looked like this was gonna be a game changer for me. But at the end of the day, I had to say to myself, is this gonna work? And if it's just like you are in a relationship, the guy looks good, right? The girl looks good, right? We want to bring it there because this is like a impromptu show last minute because I didn't even plan for this. You know, the guy looks good, the girl looks good, and everybody is excited for one reason or another. But it's just like the sound of it doesn't, something is not clicking, something is not working. So how do you, how, does it take someone who has done, because I said be ready. Does it take someone who has done the work prior to getting into a situation like that? Or do you need to continue to do work on yourself so that when life throws lemons at you, that you are ready? Because life will throw lemons at you. How do you stay ready for those issues? Because I was like, I'm not crying over this situation because I know even though I had not received that other call yet, I knew that maybe this is not gonna work. Something else will come up, something better. And I trusted that it was gonna happen. So how do you do that when it comes to a relationship? You ladies who are married.
Mm.
You-
I know that I think it's communication.
uh-huh.
Really like outlining what it is that you want or you need.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and also checking in to make sure that person understands what it is that you want and need, like having them almost like what they make you do in school, like repeat back. Is that what you meant? You know, if there's something that you don't understand, is that what you're speaking about? So I would say mainly is keeping that open line of communication, being intentional. Being intentional with every aspect of your relationship, even as you as an individual, what is it that you want? And I'm still learning myself how to do the same thing, you know, in every step of the way. I'm like, okay, in this area now I know how to communicate this better. I know how to align. I feel like I'm in alignment with what I say I want. So again, like you were saying before, determine what it is that you want, determine how can you relay it in a way that's easy for someone to digest and even easy for yourself to be able to digest. If it's a goal, make tasks for yourself, kind of build that into how am I going to get to that place, or how am I going to get to that goal of communicating something with my partner or doing something together with your partner.
Do you think listening to what people, because I think for me, the decision to maybe lean back a little bit regarding that particular offer that was initially given, because I had been paying attention. And when I heard what I heard, it immediately, so sometimes when it's time for you to make decisions and trying to figure out plan A, plan B, what do I stay here? Do I move on? Do you think it's very important to be a good listener as well, Fabiola?
Yeah. I think that's also like being a good listener is really good, but you also need to listen to understand, not listen just to act like you're listening. Because just back to that Maya Angelou quote, sometimes you meet someone and they talk about who they are, they show you who they are, but subconsciously you're not listening to understand. So you either overlook certain things or you set expectations on them that they didn't set for themselves. So I think sometimes, and it's human beings, sometimes you're listening to hear what you want, not listening to like understand. So it's all part of like working on yourself.
Correct.
You have to work on yourself, and not necessarily, I wouldn't say like have a checklist, but work on yourself to know that when should you move on, when is it time to let go, like, because life is always going to be throwing lemons. It's just that's just whether it be work, relationships, school, other people, like, and you have to continuously work on yourself because even you as a person change. Like I wasn't the same person in my 20s. I wasn't even the same person 2 years ago.
Correct.
So like you have to continuously work on yourself to see what is acceptable to you and what's not.
Yeah,
And
you have to.
once you know that, listen to understand and try not to put your expectation on other people, because then they'll disappoint you.
They'll
Right.
disappoint you. Earlier today, when we were speaking briefly, Lisa, we talked about consideration. Like whether it is like whatever situation that you're in, there has to be a level of contemplation, consideration where you take the time. Consideration, by definition, is when you take the time to analyze every single aspect of a decision before you make it. So in other words, if you are in a situation, you are in a plan A, and you see like there's no level of consideration, there's no level of respect. I posted a quote earlier this week or yesterday that says like, most people, women or men, are looking for love, respect, consideration in relationship, right? And when you have a situation where there is no love, no respect, no the consideration, you do need to move on, because there's a plan B that you may not be thinking about. Going back to my friend, 7 years of fighting, trying to hold on to that situation, and then the plan B was waiting. Sometimes the plan B is waiting, just like my situation. Like I could have sat there and trying to convince this person I am the person for them. And then because I took the time to analyze and contemplate and consider thoroughly that situation, I was able to say, you know what, let me relinquish that desire so that I could open up. And what I wanted to ask you, Lisa, do you find that sometimes, again, going back to folks, in the plan A, whatever it is, like I had done a lot of work, research to get ready for this show that was supposed to happen today, right? I took the time to do it and I had everything ready by Monday. And it took a lot of time, but being able to do this only took what, 2 hours? And it's the same thing. Like I had done so much work trying to get ready for this particular person. And then the other person, people who called me didn't even want anything other than, are you willing? If you're willing, it's a go. So why is it important to know that that plan B is gonna be easier and much better for you? And and what type of personality or mindset do you need to have, going back again, being ready? What do you need to feed yourself so that you know that you don't need to wallow and get stuck in a plan A when you should move forward to a plan B that could help you and help you achieve those goals that you have, really?
I would say you have to be ready to shed. If you're not shedding, you're not moving anywhere that you should be. An example of that is I could have, cried about the job that, was it disappointing? Yes, but you could stay in that job where you might not move as much. But if you do a little bit of research, if you stay longer than 2 to 3 years at a company, you're losing out on income.
Correct.
Not moving. So whenever you're in a job, think to leave your mark at the company, and then you move on to the next. And hopefully, and you move on to the next. You do something different, something bigger at the next place. Also patience. Taking some time, so not being impulsive, something that I used to be a lot more impulsive, maybe more in this shopping and people pleasing, if you will, when I was younger. But then you get to a point where like, no, what did that person ask me to do? Can I do it? Is it something that I want to do? Is it something that will be benefit to the person in a positive way? Like there's different things that you have to ask yourself before taking something on. So having patience to reflect on whatever it is that you're going to take, either a job, you're going to head to a task, so that you feel prepared. So never feel like you need to be ready to do something right away. But even if that opportunity, good or bad, you might not know, that good opportunity that looks great, the apple shiny, everything. If you take a moment to look at it, is this a part? Will this make me happy? Will this add value? Is this the right environment I want to be in? Is this bringing more positivity and light to my situation? And sometimes, even if it does look shiny, the money's great, or the opportunity looks wonderful, it might not be ready for picking. It might not be ready to harvest that particular thing. It might be later on.
Correct. Yeah, I like the fact that, do not ever burn bridges. because if something's not working out this time around, you never know, it might work out later. If you're still available, if it's a relationship or if it's a job, if you haven't gone to other opportunities, always be ready to say, you know what, this is not working. Let me move on to the next. But you know what, I'm not gonna burn this bridge here, because at the end of the day, I might have to come back, because
Right.
that's what happens sometimes. So, you know, I wanted to let everybody know that today I had posted on Monday that we were gonna have a conversation with a lady from PHILCOIN. She's an executive director of operation, and she was excited to be part of the show. Unfortunately, something came up. We had to pivot into something different. And I was sitting here saying like, okay, do I cancel the show? Or do I do something that might help somebody else? So I know there are some of you, of course, with COVID, you had mentioned. I met a lady recently, she's saying like, Gabrielle, I started my business and I'm so glad, yes, COVID was horrible, but because of COVID, I had the time and the resources to start my own business. So life will throw you lemons. It is up to you to think about, okay, what do I do? How do I pivot? How do I take that turn? And how do I get ready and prepared to always know that I might have to take a turn? And if the turn is coming, what resources do I have around me? Who do I have around me to help me make those decisions? Because we know we all gonna need people to help you make decisions. So I was so glad when I was about to make the decision to do this show. I was like, let me call my two friends that I know who are gonna be available, perhaps to say yes to this show. And he has to helping us. So ladies, is there anything else that you would like to add to the idea of always have a plan B, and that don't be afraid of a plan B, don't be afraid of the uncertainties, of the unexpected? Why is it important to be flexible? Because life will happen. What do you say? Any last word?
I would just like echo again that your plan B could just be make sure you move on, because whether you decide to move on or not, time is still gonna move on. The world's gonna, if you don't move on, the world's gonna move on around you, and it's gonna keep moving. So your plan B could just make sure you get up and try again, or go for whatever else dream you have.
Yeah. And you mentioned something about Lisa, about losing money if you don't go for that next job, or if you're afraid, you're comfortable with that one job and they're not promoting you, but you are afraid to move to find your plan B because you think, oh, it's not gonna work out when you're losing money. But I love the fact that you've been putting emphasis on the fact that time. You could lose money and recoup that money, but once you lose time, that's gone. You'll never find that again. That's why, whether it's a relationship, your career, or your health. The other day I talked about how muscle memory, it's very important to start working out early, taking care of your body very early, so that you can have that muscle memory. So later on, if you fell off, you can always go back. So do you want to put more emphasis on that, Lisa, in terms of like time is so important, and once you lose it, it's gone, never to be recouped.
Never to be recouped. And it's true. And, as you get older, you kind of reflect on that. A thing is like when you're a teenager, you're like, oh, I can't wait to be 18. You're 18. Oh, I can't wait to be 21. And then once you do that, you just blink your eyes and you're in your 30s. So I always tell people to just enjoy the time and the season that you're in. Every season that you're in, there is something wonderful to reap from it. So do it, experience it. Don't let that time go by. When you're younger, you don't have to worry about bills. Someone else is feeding you. You don't have to work. Yes, you have more freedom, but there is more responsibility. You're in control of creating that destiny for your life, So don't waste any time, and think of every day as a new day to start again. Sometimes we think, oh, I won't start now, or, oh, I waited too long. Think of every day as a new day and repeat it to yourself until you think that it is.
So the time is now. Don't think about the past, because you cannot change the past. Don't think about the future so much. Think about the time now. What are you going to do today? So today's show is about your plan B. We've been talking about having a plan. And of course, sometimes you get off the bandwagon, things don't work out the way you planned. The year is almost over. And many of the list of plans that I have, I'm still trying to work on them. But you know what? As long as you keep moving, you are gonna be able to achieve some goals, if not all of your goals. But you have to believe, you have to keep doing the work every single day. It takes you. Life will happen. Life will happen. A relationship will disappoint you. A career that you thought you were gonna have with a company may not work with that company. You might have to go to another company, or your health might, disappoint you. But at the end of the day, if you do the work that you need to do every day to believe in yourself and trust in the process, you will succeed. Because Let's Talk Money with Friends, we want to talk about money, but we want to talk about life, and your life matters. So I would encourage you to look at your plan B tonight. Thank you, ladies, for helping me with my plan B tonight. Because if it weren't for you, I don't think I would have been able to do this show tonight. But thank you so much. If you are watching, please tag, share, make a comment, let your friends know. If you've had to make pivot, if you've had to make changes in your life, whether it was with a relationship, a career, or your health, please share, because there are people out here who are looking to hear from you. They're looking to learn out from you, and they're looking to hear that if you could do it, they can do it too. Because we are part of a community. And when we see our brothers and sisters doing things that we never thought we could do, all of a sudden we feel empowered to do the same. So I want to empower you to go ahead and help empower somebody else. Thank you so much for your time. Have a blessed night. We'll see you next week on Let's Talk Money